Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Mac. Yeah, I know it's kind of early, but your boy is up a little early, and I had some things on my mind as soon as I woke up. And I'm thankful to be able to wake up and see another day and be clothed in my right mind. So, blessings to the Most High for that. Um, well, today I want to discuss something that is very taboo right now, and it seems like if you question this or if you have any thoughts against this, then you are going to be silenced in some way, shape, or form. I don't even know if this video is going to make it. I've posted several times about this topic on other platforms and it's been silenced. And so I'm going to attempt to address it this morning on this platform, and hopefully this message will get out to people. I'm talking about the suppression of anybody who has questions about the vaccine and COVID. We see people are being canceled for questioning the origins of COVID, the intention behind COVID, and the validity of these vaccines. Anybody who speaks on those things right there, you're pretty much in danger of being canceled. Now, as I speak about this, I also want to address something that people say regularly, but there's no explanation for. Who the hell are they? Who is they? This they that everybody love to blame everything on. We need to know who they are so we can take the fight to them. So when we say, oh, they were canceled, this person got canceled. Ellen DeGeneres was canceled. Who was she canceled by? Uh, they want to cancel Joe Rogan. Who is they? Well, they want to cancel Dave Chappelle. Who is they? Now, to understand that, we have to dig into the concept of cancel. So, what does it mean to cancel somebody? Well, that means that people are withdrawing their support from this person, whether it be on social media, whether it be in person, or anything like that. But it means that they're withdrawing their support from someone, and this is what cancels a person. Because once everybody supposedly withdraws their support, then that means that person usually goes away. Excuse me, trying to get my voice right for this. So now, with that being said, if they is supposedly the fans and everybody that supports that person, we have this understanding that whenever you're in the music industry, whenever you're in the entertainment industry, a lot of the numbers behind your achievements are fabricated. Okay. We've had many artists to come out and say that their views are fabricated, their streams are fabricated. A lot of the statistics that they use to get paid are fabricated numbers. And so a lot of those fans don't even exist. A lot of those albums that was bought don't even exist. And so they will create these numbers to create a level of popularity for a person. And then everybody will be like, whoa, all of these people are on this. Let me jump on this and see what's going on. And that's just a luring tactic to get you to check it out because they make you feel like everybody else is on it. And so knowing this, we can also gather the thought that when they say that somebody is being canceled and they start showing that their numbers of support is dropping, We do not know if these are actual people who are withdrawing their support or if it's those fabricated numbers being taken away from them by the people who have endorsed them and the people who have invested in their careers. I think that's who cancel culture is. It's not a bunch of people who get together and say, we don't tolerate this and we're going to pull our support from this. When have the citizens of the United States ever pulled their support from something just because it was bad for us? Look throughout our history, all of the bad stuff that we indulge in on a regular basis, and it's destroying us on a regular basis. But now all of a sudden, people are sensitive about something being said. Look at drugs. Drugs have destroyed many for a long time. You don't see cancel culture canceling the drugs. You don't see them canceling the drug dealer because most of those people are in direct connection with these drug dealers one way or the other, whether it's getting the money or whether it's getting some drugs. And I'm talking about our government. Oh yeah, and let's not act like our government is above selling drugs. Okay, we have way too many document cases. Go ask Freeway Ricky Ross. Go ask all of the people in California who's still dealing with crack epidemic that was dropped in their neighborhoods by Ronald Reagan. So let's not act like our country is above doing these things. And so I will say to most people, when we hear they concerning cancel culture, I will attribute that more to the people who have invested in that specific person's career and the people who have given those fabricated numbers. So, you know how they say they got the machine behind this person, they've got the industry behind this person. The industry is the one controlling those numbers, and the industry is the one who controls someone being canceled. Now, I say all of that to tie it into this. When we're talking about COVID-19 and we're talking about the vaccines that come from Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson and Johnson, those are the entities that are shutting you down. It's not people out here in the world. Don't believe that for 1 second. The powers that be, I'll refer to them as that. These are the people who have all of the money. It's not the president. This is above his pay grade. These are the people, the Jeff Bezoses and the Elon Musks and all of these people who have money that can influence the world. Now, when they start to pull support and when they start to show disapproval, this is when things happen, not when we start to show disapproval. So, if you want any backup on that, just check U.S. history. And so, when I'm talking about being suppressed, when we speak about COVID-19 and we speak about these vaccines and we raise questions about these vaccines and things, because they're very legitimate questions that we have as people. It's not like we're out here just asking questions just to go against what they're trying to do. No, we need to know because we understand that they don't have an understanding of what COVID fully is, and they've already went ahead and made a vaccine for something that they don't fully have an understanding for. So how then can you make an effective vaccine? And then we're seeing that the vaccines are not properly working. They're talking about, oh, you take 2 shots and then you got to take this booster. No, that's a third shot because the first 2 shots didn't work. So let's get that clear. And then all of this different terminology that they use to try to paint a good picture about the incompetence that is taking place right now in this country over COVID-19. So I just want people to understand that when we're on here and when we're talking about this pandemic, when you hear they, They is the industry. They is those investors, the people who've invested in the pharmaceutical companies, the people who've invested in all of these entities that stand to make money off of the fear of the people. And so anybody who's going to go against that plan and that agenda of drumming up fear in people in order to get them to give up their liberties, and not only give up their liberties but give up their money. We have to start to question things. And so right now, Joe Rogan is on the chopping blocks because of him questioning COVID, him questioning vaccines, him having people on to have in depth discussions about this. And so now you have reports coming out, oh, well, the people or cancel culture, they'll blame it on cancel culture, this mysteriously hidden entity that could be anybody, based on what the conversation is about. If it's about homosexuality, they'll make cancel culture the LGBTQ community. If it's about racism, they'll make cancel culture, let's say, the school board or Congress, because these are the ones who are trying to get critical race theory out of school. Um, so in all these different areas, they have a particular group that they'll put it off on and say, oh, well, this is the people who are dissatisfied with it. But in actuality, it's not. It's those investors, those donors, the ones that are standing to make a profit from everything that's going on during this pandemic. So that's the they. That's the true cancel culture. And it seems like whenever somebody starts to get too close to the right questions and the right answers, then they're going to begin to fabricate drama with this person. They're going to begin to cause distractions to get you away from what this person is talking about, because they don't want you to start to question and start to ask the same questions that this person is asking. And so they got to demonize this person. This is part of the process of what they do. They'll discredit, demonize, and destroy. And as they go through and they do this to this person, not only does that take away those questions, but it also makes them an example of pretty much of, if you step outside of lines that we have painted for you, this is what's going to happen to you. And so they'll make an example of somebody, no problem, if somebody is threatening their bottom line, which is their dollar. And so, I don't know, man. I'm gonna always continue to ask questions. I'm gonna raise questions because I was talking with some brothers yesterday, and man, this is more to this than what they're telling us. It's always more to it than what they're telling us. I'm old enough to remember when the HIV came out. We didn't know what HIV was. We didn't know what AIDS was. And when it came out, they said that it originated because an African had sex with a monkey. That was the original claim when HIV came out. If I'm lying, I'm flying. You can look it up for yourself if you don't believe my words. And so over time, the stories have changed. The ideas behind HIV have changed. The treatment for HIV have changed. Magic Johnson had HIV, and seemed like Magic Johnson just been getting better and better and better. We haven't seen any health issues with Magic. And of course, he has money to pay for treatment. But when HIV first came out, that was a death warrant. It was a death warrant if you got HIV when it first came out. But now we have millions of people thriving with HIV, and they have treatments, and you even see the commercials for it. And so I think it's going to be the same with COVID. It's going to be the exact same. People have been drummed up into a panic because there's no understanding. And anytime you don't understand something, it's going to drum up fear, which ultimately turns into anger. And so this is where all of this suppression of people talking about COVID-19 and vaccines is coming from. It's coming from those investors and those who are making the money. They'll use any other group and call them cancel culture so that they can initiate their actions through them and still stay neutral, basically. So I just want people to open up their minds to the thought, think outside of the box, and don't stay in the guidelines of what society has painted for us, because the norm is just to keep us in line and to keep us, docile and distracted while the powers that be do what they do. But there's no more time for that. We have to pay attention to what's going on in our society very closely. At this time in history, more than any other time in history, do we have to pay attention to these people because of the level of technology that they have. They can trick our eyes now. Perception is not reality anymore. Through the imagery and the technological advances in imagery, we can't trust our eyes anymore. We see these videos all the time, and they're taken out of context and made to look one way. Whenever you see the whole video, then you'll see the full story. So our eyes are being tricked in these days and times. So we have to be very mindful that we have to question things. There's absolutely no wisdom in following what anybody pertaining to our government system says, just following them based on their word. Um, we see it in gentrification. These people lived at a place, they probably been living at that place all of their life. They paid for those homes and they're still being pushed out. Why? Because loopholes are being found by those people who want to come in and they want to rebuild those neighborhoods and refurbish those neighborhoods for a different type of crowd. They're pushing out the black people in Memphis right now into Rutherford County, and this is causing the judge to target black children and brown children in order to deter people of that color from moving to Rutherford County. She's being investigated right now. So this is just one example of how, if you have land and you claim that you own something, if they want it, they can take that land by any means necessary. You can pay up all your taxes on it. You can do all of that good stuff. But if they want it, they're going to push you out. They're going to find a reason to take it. And there's absolutely no reason to put faith in this government who have time and time again lied to people, and they stole the land from this people originally. So someone who stole some land, do you really think that they're going to give you anything? Because ultimately it's going to be theirs forever. And so, we just have to look into things, man, stay open minded and really, really look at the history of this country that we are in and understand that this is the machine behind cancel culture. They're not going to come out and say that they're the ones, because that's just another way of keeping division between us and any other groups. So that's just another tool for division. If they can use LGBT community against Dave Chappelle, then that's going to be the LGBT community against a lot of black people as well, and all of the people that support and think like Dave Chappelle. And so that's just another form of division. And we have to be able to open our third eye and see what is really taking place, the bigger picture. And while we're sitting down here arguing about these things, they're busy making moves. And so just look into it. Whenever you hear the term they concerning cancel culture, start asking that question. Who is they? Who stands to gain from this? Who stands to profit from this? Because I guarantee you that most people really don't care. Most actual people don't care. And like I said before, most of these numbers and these achievements and all of these fans and stuff that we see uh posted up for these stars are not real. The majority are fabricated. The majority of those fans don't exist. What's his name? Takashi 69 came out and explained how you can do up to um, three bundles of streaming, and they'll buy 50,000 streams for you just to get your numbers up there, so your fans will be impressed and they'll see you as more popular and more successful than you really are, so they'll buy into the persona that they are building for you, that they are creating for you. This is not just a practice in the music industry. This is a practice in entertainment, period. And so those streaming numbers that Joe Rogan gets, those subs that Joe Rogan gets, and all of those numbers, a lot of that stuff is fabricated because they like the content before, they like the shock factor, they like who he was and what he could bring, and they could make money off of it. But when he starts to go against them and their agenda, oh, well, now we got to reel him in and show him who's really in control of all of his success and how fast we can take that from him by creating now this group of people who's dissatisfied with Joe Rogan talking to somebody and raising questions about COVID-19 so much that they're going to pull their support from Joe Rogan in mass numbers. Nobody cares that much in the United States. It's either one way or the other. And we've seen demonstrated time and time again that the American citizens do not care. We've been desensitized to so much for so long. We do not care. So you can't have it both ways. Either we care or we don't care. But making up this lie about a cancel culture when it's really the investors who is the cancel culture is just, you got to be able to see it, man. You got to be able to see things for what they are because, like I said, perception is no longer reality. They have the technology to paint a different picture right before your eyes. So, it's on each individual, to each his own. If something don't sit right in your spirit, man, always question it. I don't care what it is and who said it. If it don't sit right in your spirit, and if that thing keep bothering you and it keep coming back to your mind, you need to check into it for yourself. You need to do your own research. Because listening to everybody else and not checking those sources and just going off the strength of what somebody else has researched, that's not the ticket. It's going to make you look like a fool in a lot of situations. That's just from personal experience. I've done that. I've been through that era in my life where I'll just grab a piece of information that sounds good to me and I'll just go with it. And then I'll spend the next day or two, backtracking and backpedaling on that and having to correct my thinking and my understanding because I've been led astray and I got excited and jumped the gun. I've been through that cycle in my life, and so I know better. And so when I come with information, best believe it's something that I've done more than a Google search on. Um, but yeah, that's all I really wanted to bring to your attention this morning is why is anybody suppressed whenever we have questions about something that's going into our body? You know what I'm saying? And it's It's crazy that, a person would get offended that you want to question what an outside source is trying to get you to put into your body. I'm questioning everything. I don't care. I'm questioning everything. And if it does not meet my satisfaction, I'm not going to participate. Period, point blank. And that's a personal decision. I don't go against anybody who decides opposite of what my decision is. Like I said before, to each his own. But to try and suppress somebody for asking questions about something is very suspicious to me. A lot of people will use that excuse concerning the church. That's one of their main things that they'll complain about, and that'll be their main excuse for not being a part of the church. And that's well, the church, I asked this question and they beat around the bush and they don't ever give me a direct answer. Or they don't give me something that satisfies my spirit. Well, neither do your government. But you believe them lock, stock, and barrel, and you'll have more faith in your government. So I don't know. It sounds like talking out of both sides of their mouth and making an excuse to me, but that's just my opinion. So just be open minded when it comes to things. Don't close off your mind to ideas and thoughts. And I say that this COVID thing is a lot more than what they're telling us because they don't know themselves. It's very reminiscent to when HIV came out and nobody knew anything and they were scrambling for information then. This is the same thing now. They don't know, but they're going to use it to their advantage because the same fear that they have, they know that we have, and they're going to use it to exploit us. This is your boy D Mac, man. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.